Good morning, everyone. In the previous class, we have already come across the types of the connectivity, where we have seen point-to-point connectivity, where the node or the host is directly connected to the storage array. The second one is fiber channel arbitrated loop, where you are using a hub to connect the nodes and the storage array. And the third one, we have seen the fiber channel switched fabric, where we are using the switches to connect the nodes and the host array. And also we have seen what is the advantages of having the switch over the hub, and we have seen how the how the ports are been communicating from one node to the another node. And we have even seen the different types of the ports, that is N port, F port, E port and G port, where N stands for node port, E stands for expansion port, F stands for fabric port, right? And as usual, G port, it is a generic port which is used to connect the E port or the F port automatically for the purpose of the any functionality. Okay, moving on to the next one is this fiber channel. What is the architecture? That means how does it look, how they have been developed this fiber channel so that it is providing so much of the functionality, and what is the base to generate this architecture. So this fiber channel was being developed on the network topology or the network architecture. Hope if you remember the network architecture, when I say it is your OSI model, where you are having the 7 layers. It is being divided into 7 layers, where you have application, the presentation, the session, the transport layer, network layer, data link layer, and the physical layer. So these all functionality provided to be an OSI model, and through which the communication takes place. The same way, whenever I'm using this fiber channel, then what is the architecture so that the data transfer takes place. And when I've been saying this fiber channel architecture, then automatically there is the set of rules and regulations to transfer the data, so that what we call it as a protocol. And when I am applying this protocol, we need to make sure that the data transfer and the data transfer is at the higher rate, and also it provides the scalability for the network. Please remember, this fiber channel protocol or this fiber channel architecture only came into the picture because it provided more scalability as the network technology. As we had just a direct attached server, the what is that, there was a problem with the scalability. For this purpose, we have come with this fiber channel architecture. The next one is he is talking about what are the advantages of this one. So the advantages of this fiber channel architecture are: the first one, he tells that it is having the sustained transmission of the bandwidth over the long distances. That means whenever I am transferring the data, there is a less a loss of the data. That means the data is being transferred for a longer distance, and is been saying that it is going to support large number of addressable devices. When I say addressable devices, that means I am getting connected to more number of the devices, and I can transfer the data. That means the scalability is improving. I can increase the number of the devices, or I can decrease the number of the devices. The next one, it is going to support, or it is the speed of the data transfer is up to 16 gigabits per second. So this is the fiber channel is going to support this much transfer of the data. So these are all the advantages of the fiber channel protocol. The next one, we'll see that how exactly the fiber channel protocol stack looks like. Hope if you remember your OSI layer, there are the various layers in that one, and each and every layer has got a particular protocols. In that particular protocols, when I'm saying, if you remember TCP/IP protocol, and then you have a UDP protocol. The same way here also, for your fiber channel protocols, there is For this fiber channel also we have a protocol, so which is divided into four layers. The first one is FC0, fiber channel 0, then we have fiber channel 1, next one is fiber channel 2, and the next last one is fiber channel 4. Please remember, we don't have fiber channel 3. Okay, so the applications or the services that are being provided by each and every layer is important, and how it is been contributing. The topmost layer, that is upper layer protocol, and it is using the various protocols. If you remember, your application layer is also having so many protocols, like FTP you have, then you are having HTTP, so many protocols is being used. The same way, even the fiber channel also is using the various protocols. The first one is SCSI, that means it is a small computer, then it is a system interface, right? We have been having that one. Then it is using HIPPY protocol, that is high performance parallel interface. Then we have enterprise storage connectivity and asynchronous transfer mode. uh, the These are the protocols. From this one, the data is been transferring, and it is moving to the FC4 protocol, where it is upper layer protocol mapping. In this one, these whatever the data is being transferred using these protocols, it is going to map. From this FC4, it is being transferred to FC2 layer, where it is performing the operations of the framing and the flow control. Hope if you remember, framing and all, the data has to be divided in terms of the frames, and also we have to make sure that the data, whenever it is being transferring, all the packets are being received, or all the frames are being received. So if I take it, suppose if I divide these in terms of the frames, and I am making sure this, so let me give this one as frames, a particular data is been moving. I'm dividing it into the four frames. So this is the first frame, then I have the second frame, next I have third frame and fourth frame. And we have to also make sure these all these four frames are in flow, that means flow control, in the sense I have to receive all these frames, and at that same time I have to make sure that the sequence is being followed. And the next one, FC1, what is the functionality it is being doing? It is performing the encoding and decoding. Hope if you remember, even in your OSI layer also, there is a encoding and decoding. I think very soon after the application layer, the encoding and decoding takes place. So in this fiber channel, how does the encoding and decoding takes place is, whatever you are transferring the data is in terms of 8 bits, and it is being converted into 10 bits. Okay, so this 10 bits, whenever you are being transferring, it is being stored in terms of the 10 bits. So when I'm being saying this as a 10 bits, then what comprises of this 10 bits is, it is to make sure the start and the end. Okay, so it is been there. And also here, whenever I am storing the data in terms of the speed, when I increase that one, it is being transferred in terms of 64 bits, and when it is being decoded, it will be into the 66 bit. So at that same time, we have to make sure there is a bit and the frame synchronizations. Now when bit and frame synchronization, then we need to make sure that all the bits are being received. If in case the bits are not being received, then automatically we need to recover the data. So we are going to use the cyclic redundancy check. So if you remember, we are using CRC, right? CRC, to check that whether the all the bits are being recovered and the frames are being recovered. Okay, so even that encoding and decoding, it is providing the error recovery. And as usual, you people know that physical layer, that is FC0, where it is connecting the devices with the help of the cables and the connectors. And we have seen that the various forms of the cables and the connectors in the components of the fiber channel SAN. Okay, so moving on to the next one. Okay. Now, when I'm been talking about the fiber protocol stack, now I'm been going to talk about the fiber channel addressing. So, how is this addressing taking place? Now, if you see here, there are total. If I say this, from here one, it starts from 0 up to here 8 bits, and here also it is again 8 bits, and it is 8. So 8 threes are 24. So total the addressing is 24 bits. Now, when I'm having this 24 bits, how is this 24 bits being divided? The last 24, that is from 16 to 23, is being taken as domain ID. Okay, this domain ID is unique in number for each and every switch. Please remember, every ID is of the 8 bits. So first is being divided as port ID, second one is area ID, and the third one is domain ID. So domain ID, when I say it is 8 bits, it is being used for the particular switch. When I say 8 bits, then automatically the address ranges from 2 to the power of 8. That means the values will be from 0 to 256 bits. Okay. Now, when I'm having this addressing 256 bits, it is not using all these 256. Please remember, it is only using 239 addresses. Okay, so what about the remaining addresses, where they have been gone? They are being used for the special purposes, or sometimes they are being reserved, so that they are being designed, or they are being stored only for the special cases. Example, now you can see here, it is FFFFFC, that is being reserved for the name server, so that will not be given to the all the people, right? Then the second one is, we have the area ID. Again, it is here 2 to the power of 8, because you are using 8 bits, so the address is from 2 to the power of 8. Even for your port ID also, it is 2 to the power of 8 addresses you are going to have it. Okay, so these are used to identify, the area ID is used to identify the switch to which group it is going to belong, and the port ID used to identify the port within that group. Okay, so now if you check what are the maximum number of the nodes or the node ports that can be connected, is this much. Okay, for domain ID we have 239, for the area ID we have 256, and for the port ID we are having 256. So the total goes to this number, that is about 15 million. Okay, moving on to the next one. This is all about the addressing, we have been having it. The next comes is zoning. So what does this zone means? As already we have a protocol stack and all everything. What is this zoning, and why do we need this zoning? So here, when I say the zoning, what I'm trying to do is, as the name itself says, it is a zone. Okay, now you can check here in this diagram. I am trying to group them in one particular set. So having a different members, I try to group them, so that there is a proper what is that, communication, so that my what I can say, that the functionality is being achieved, the performance of the data is being there, and also at that same time the availability of the data is also to the maximum extent. Now you can check here the data what I'm been having, sorry, the nodes whatever is been there. Suppose this is the first node, the second node, and this third node. As it is being connected using this fiber channel SAN, what I'm rightly discussing, to this storage array, which is having the two ports. And what they have done is, this particular port, suppose if I take this particular port as 1 and this as 2, so whenever they are communicating, they are making sure that the node 3, that if in case I label them as 1, and this is 2 and 3, so directly they are being grouped into, that means node 3 is connected to the port number 1, so this grouping takes place. And this node 1 and 2 are being connected to this particular port 1 itself, so they are being grouping like this. So from the node 1 I have, and then I have 2, and they have to be grouped always with the node port number 1. And I have this 3, and it is being connected to the port number 2. That means this is making sure that whenever the transfer of the data takes place, it is only through this port itself. Please remember, so this is going to form one particular zone and this is going to form the another set of the zone, so that the transfer of the data takes place only through these ports. Okay, so moving on to the next one. Now we can see here in this next diagram, here we are been having various members. When I say here members, they are the nodes. Okay, you can see here they are being connected to the different zone. When I'm been saying zone, I can be having more number of the arrays or more number of the switches. Here please remember, when I'm saying a zone, there will be a particular set of the devices which are being connected together. So each and every member when I am having here, they have been connected to the particular zone, and these all zones belong to the particular zone set. Okay, now for this example, if I say that one, you people will be having your which is that telephone numbers. Suppose I shall write here one telephone number which is 277 what is that 605. When I say 277605, and the code of the Bijapur is 08352. Yeah, when I say it is 08, please remember, when I say 08, this is a particular zone set. That means this all belongs to the Bijapur area. And when I say 35 and 2, this is acting as a zone. That means which area it is going to come. And when I'm been saying here 27, 76 and 05, this is how the phone numbers will be divided. When I say 26, this will be connected to one particular system. If you see in your area, there will be one square box where it is acting as a junction, and from here all the lines will be drawn to the particular home, right? And the 76 is going to define that which particular port it is being connected, and 05 is going to give the particular address to whom it is being given that particular number. And when you particularly dial this number followed by this one, then only it is being received. Now this same way, when I'm been saying a member, it is the node or the host or the storage array. And when I'm been grouping them in terms of the zone, that means I have the storage devices through which the ports, whatever you have been having this connectivity, they have been saying it is through the cables and the ports they have been connected. And when I'm been transferring the data, so this particular zone is helping me to transfer the data from this particular zone set. So please remember this one, and it is very easy also. By this one, what has happened is they have been grouped in terms of the zone. That means a particular area. From this particular area, they are been grouping. I can say one very simple example is India is a country, so that is being taken as the zone set. In India, again we are being dividing into the various states, so that is acting as a zone. And in each and every state, we have the different cities, so they are acting as the members. So whenever I say zone set, that is on the topmost, from there all the services are being provided. Right, now you can check that one or more state can be interconnected with the another what you say the another state also. For example, if I say here uh, this is India, let us assume. In India, if I am being taking here this as a country, that is a zone set having the different states. So let me take here is Karnataka, and it is connected to the next one is, if I take it as Maharashtra, right? And then if I take it here as Kerala, right? When I'm been taking here these as the states, the Karnataka is having the different cities in this one. Yeah, when I say this as a city, this is another city. Now if I say here, how is this being related, right? There might be a city which is sharing the border of the Maharashtra and Karnataka, right? It is accessing both the services, right? Even here you can check the member is been accessing the services from the zone, that is from Kerala and also the Maharashtra. So this way, but please remember, the zone is only one particular zone. It is not going into the another, it is not connecting to the another zone, right? So this connection does not establish within the zones. Only particular zone will be having the various members in that, and one particular zone is only connected to one particular zone set. It is not having any other multiple zone sets. Okay, so hope this is clear for you people. Then you can see that when I'm having its zone, that means when I'm creating a particular group, then how do I create them and on what basis I categorize them? So the first one what has been talking is port zone, and the next one is WWN zone, that is worldwide name zone, and the last one is the mixed zone. In the port zone, what we do is we are going to define the zone based on those physical ports. And what is the problem here is, whenever I want to configure any information or whenever I want to change that one, I have to make sure that zone configuration takes place. If I change it or I add a device or I delete a device, again we need to reinstall all those what is it, the softwares or the changes to be done. Else what happens, the port zoning is a bit difficult part. And also it is, whenever we go for the port zoning, it is very much secure. Then the second one is worldwide name zoning, where it is been flexible. There is no need to reconfigure the zones and all, because whenever I change from one zone to the another zone, so no need to configure for me. For this, I want to give an example. For example is, whenever you go from one city to the another city with your mobile networks, first there used to be a roaming service, but now it is nowhere concerned with the roaming service. You can go anywhere, so the network is not going to change. But first, previously, when you used to go from one particular area to the another, there used to be a change in the network. But now there is only international roaming. That means from one particular zone set to the another particular zone set, when you go, only at that time it is being available. Then the next one is a mixed zoning, which is going to combine both the qualities, that is worldwide name zoning and also the port zoning. So this is what you say, it is more advantaged when compared to the port zoning and the worldwide name zoning. Okay, so moving on, here you can see a diagram having both. You can check here, which is going to show us the port zoning. Now you can check here, the particular ports has been there, it is connected to one particular port. So this is acting as, now you can check here, these are all your port nodes. Here is also a port, here is also port, and here again it is your e port. So zone 1, from one particular port to the another particular port, it is your worldwide zone. Okay, worldwide name zone. Then you can check for your zone 2, where it is connecting between the switch and the port. Okay, so this is zone 2, which is acting as a port, because it is only connecting from one port to the another port. And the zone 3, here you can check here, it is a mixed zone where you have been connecting between the node, that is the node port, with the switch port. Right, so here if you people remember in the yesterday's diagram, that we had come across the different types of the the ports, where we have a n port, we have a f port, we have e port, and also the g port. Right, n port is from the node port, we are connecting it to the f port, that is the fabric port. And we have e port, which is an expansion port, which is connecting to the another switch or the another device, so it is called as e port. Right, here n port is connecting to the f port. Right, and this ef port and f ports, whenever they are being connected, we are having the we are been using them. And here you can check in this same figure, you can check here in the figure, that we have been having this node port connected to the another node port with a different what is that worldwide name. So this is acting as a zone 1. So which is that zone here? You can check here, that is the worldwide node. So this is having the different, the storage area array will be in the some another place, and this server will be in the another place, right? So when they both are directly connected, then I call it as the particular worldwide zone. Now you can check here, we have a node zone and it is being connected to this switch. We are not directly connecting to the storage array, but we are connecting it to the switch. So this is a zone port, that is mixed port. We are having this as a worldwide port, and also this is your switch port, right? So this is another port we have been having. So this port and this worldwide name port are being combined, so we call them as the mixed zone. Now you can check here, we have been only connecting the ports, this one particular port to the another particular port. So this is acting as your port zone itself. So when I'm having particular only ports I'm been connecting, then it acts as a port zone. When I connect with the port zone and the worldwide name zone, then it becomes the mixed zone. And when I connect only the ports, that is the worldwide name and the another port with the another storage array or the node, then it is called as the what is that, worldwide name zone. Okay, so this figure is very much important. So in case you are having any doubts regarding this one, you can ask at any time, that is not a problem. Thank you.